Be more is that I want you to be more aware that you are looking, and not what's going on.
Yeah.
What's going on is that you're just looking, and keep the energy inside just the awareness itself.
Yes.
Just be with that.
Yeah. And sometimes there's in the perceiving still a kind of, it's very subtle, like it's hard to say it in words, that there's still a sense of, how can I describe it, that the perceiving comes from here in a way.
Yeah.
And it feels somehow still like not like perceiving fully. There's still some kind of...
I've been giving a little advice recently, like say you're sitting in a room, and you're alone, and there's a window looking outside. And outside is the mind.
Yeah.
All that's going on. And it's very persuasive, it's got a lot of ideas, suggestions and so on. It's like he's trying to talk to you.
Outside of the window.
Yeah, but you're here. And you don't need anything from there.
Yeah.
But sometimes some scenes go and you get interested in that for a bit.
Yes.
And then when you get interested, it's as though you get identified.
Yeah.
And it's like you're on the other side of the window.
Yeah.
It appears that it's not true,
Yes,
because you're
okay.
still in a room. And then from there, you're involved in something, and then like this, you get entangled in that, you're trying to get back out and so.
Yeah.
But all of this, if you stayed in the room, would be watched, and you'll still be untouched by it.
Yeah.
It's very important, because something inside said, no, but I need to get involved in it. It's something I want to do.
Yeah.
Because you're watching from the beingness, from just your natural being.
Yeah.
The beingness has a tendency to get involved in the becomingness.
Yeah.
And then it becomes personal. When it becomes personal, it's like somehow you're cut off from the root seeing.
Okay.
So when I say to you, you can observe, but don't be too interested, because if you get interested, you get identified very easily. Try what's the reason is not to be afraid of what you see, but that as you're observing and staying, just paying attention, that you're looking from a stillness. You're not telling yourself that you're seeing that.
Yes.
Actually, and the seeing, when you don't hook up with what's happening there, it stays like detached.
Yeah.
And it's like things just coming and going. You're not controlling them. There's no need to control. They're just unfolding like that. But every now and again, some thoughts come which feel very familiar, and that familiarity becomes very engaging. Like it's calling. No?
Yeah.
But all I'm asking you to do is to be aware of just being aware.
Yeah.
Like this, stay like this. And then gradually, if you stick with it enough, because nobody does it.
Yeah.
Usually something comes after a bit, we're in.
Yes.
And that's just in and out all the time. Actually, very rarely in. Very few people are observing while staying detached. So if you do this for a while, what happens is at some point, like the scene you're looking at just feels like it's just becomes really separate. It's like you're not troubled by it anymore.
Yeah.
It's like it's more distant for you. And then what happens in this moment is like it's like some power comes up in you that just holds you in this peace, like a deep sense of peace. And it's very powerful, peace, and a sweet detachment, and a joy inside. No?
Yeah. Yeah.
And don't celebrate.
Yeah.
You're simply in that, and stay in that. Just stay with it. Keep staying in that. The more you get used to this, the less influence your mind, when it rises, will catch you. Just keep staying like this gradually.
Yeah.
Because even when you realize that you're not it, mind will still come. It will still come.
Yeah.
And you have to keep exercising your discernment that you're looking. Of course, there are times when the mind comes and there are things to do. And the point I'm making is that when your power stays here, then what happens is that the world that you see, the life that's flowing from your body as well, like this, it gets flavored by your beingness and not by your person.
Yeah.
And when this is like this, your world becomes more harmonious.
Yeah.
When it goes from the person, it's very erratic. It's not.
Yes.
And that's what I'm sharing.
Yeah.
To keep looking is not to dismiss the world. Oh, it's horrible. Oh. It's only horrible for the person. The reaction is usually from the person.
Yeah.
No, I don't like this, and it's so hard. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm not getting anywhere. I need to try. This is the voice of the person.
Yes. Yeah.
But you're in the room.
Yeah.
In a room of silence.
Yeah.
And it's quite impersonal. It's the room of being. I'm going to call it the room. It's your natural space.
Mm-hmm.
And you must preserve this space when the mind is calling you to become personal.
Yeah.
You must keep looking with attachment. It feels difficult in the beginning, but as soon as you experience the beauty of it, then you have more resolve in you to stay with it. Mm-hmm. You stay with it and stay with it. And then gradually the mind will, because sometimes it's almost like the mind is like someone that comes and goes, hey, come, and you're gone.
Mm-hmm.
So easy.
Yeah.
Because it feels like it presents you with a history and a habit and tendencies.
Yeah.
And things, promised things that will promise to fulfill you and to be good and dreaming and so on.
Yeah.
So very few people are really staying in a place where they are observing with attachment. Very, very, very few.
Yeah.
But as soon as it begins to work for you, you see what a huge difference it makes.
Yes.
You won't be struggling with life.
Yes.
And even the things that feel very painful and difficult for you, you start to appreciate that they help you to stay here.
Yes. And today I had an experience with shame that it happens sometimes a lot that the head is turning red, and somehow I started to seeing it's a blessing, because it is possible that the head is turning red and it doesn't disturb me. It's just because then if it turns red or not, it doesn't matter. But when the mind clings in and it's like, now you feel uncomfortable, or people around you feel uncomfortable, then comes the stickiness.
That's discerning the difference between the person and presence.
Yeah.
Presence is the weakness. Person is the involved.
Yes.
The false self and its projections and so on.
Yeah.
And now, after so many years of sharing and talking with people, the guidance just becomes simpler and simpler. And why it becomes simpler and simpler is when I find people who will listen to it and follow it. And if you're following it, because if you're listening from a person, you're always going to need more advice and more learning and more study and more practice and more places to travel and so on.
Yeah.
But if you can listen in the place of being and just follow it, you see that, wait a second, where do I need to go? I'm really happy just here in my being.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean the mind is going to give up. It will keep coming for a while, and you just stay with it, stay with it.
Yeah. It was so powerful when you said that just sit with it, and it actually it works.
Yes.
And it was just so powerful because you said that who's doing that, like just sit with it, and also for me as a reminder, because as you said, like the going or running away or find other things, it's so can happen so fast.
Yes.
Yes.
Very quick. And even if you feel like, I got identified again, don't register that like a failing. Don't worry. Just again, come back.
Yeah.
And the minute you come back and you honor just looking from here again, that action before is forgotten. It doesn't have any, it's not like you're building a history of failure, but the mind will tell you that. But you just stay back, just keep coming back. Every time you come back, you're simply here. You're just here in this place. And it's the most simple and it's the most effective. In fact, every other kind of advice, teaching this and learning, they're secondary to this. This is the primary advice. If you can do this, this is what I mean, that you catch the whole ocean with a one hook.
Yeah.
You follow this thing, just stay with it.
Yeah.
Because you may find that your mind is making other suggestions and telling you how another spiritual practice might work, and all it will do this. It's just, you just have to grow.
Yes.
When you get the result, you don't need to, I think it's, no, you get the result, you acknowledge the results, and that will give you a lot of confidence to continue doing.
Yes. Yeah.
Just like that.
and also without like the mind can also try to get the advantages of exposing and observing. Like this can also be very fast that the mind tries to
Take
sneak
credit for
in
it.
and take the credit for it.
I
Yes,
tell
even
you,
that.
you know, you will not find anyone that can create delusion in you than your own mind. Okay? That's the only thing you have to master. You don't have to master anybody else. If you can master, and by mastering I mean just being aware of what is happening and see that actually it's just a movie, and actually so many thoughts you may experience in a day, and at the end of the day you cannot remember any of them because they have no value. There's nothing at all.
Yeah.
But if you catch one, it will stick with you.
Yeah. Yes.
This, no?
Yeah.
So just to be aware of that and just keep looking and checking in. This simple thing. And what happens, how clever and how strong our conditioning is that sometimes you'd rather go and do 50 other practices rather than just this one thing. Why? Because this works. And the mind has it's that it comes out with a resistance.
Yeah.
But over the years, I came to a conclusion that you don't need to regard your mind as your enemy. Actually, it's one of the best helpers because he's going to give you such a hard time that it's only by if he was all giving you sweet times, you would never wake up. But because it crashes so often and you get tired of struggling and suffering, and then you become more open to looking for a guidance that really works. And this works.
Thank you.
Good.